So Mediaload is actually incorporated in Singapore. We are operating in 3 countries right now, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Vietnam. We are number 1 in terms of digital media, according to Alexa ranking in Cambodia and Myanmar. So some of you may not know that we are in Myanmar, but yeah, we are there. We started like more than a year ago, and now we are number 1 there. So the stats, we have 8 million unique visitors, and we're serving almost 1 billion social impressions. So my topic today is actually how to survive and grow as a Cambodia-based digital media. You know, when we talk about survival, for media, actually it's a big thing because some legacy media have gone bankrupt or are completely being disrupted by the digital media. And even digital media themselves are struggling to survive. So I'm going to talk about the things that I do in order to survive, and at the same time, things that I do in order to grow as a Cambodia-based digital media. So first thing that I do is to work well with the content distribution channels. So you know that the biggest content distribution channel is in Cambodia is Facebook. So I'd like to do a quick survey with you guys. So raise your hand if you use Facebook to get regular news updates. Yep. So yeah. So it's the biggest driver of referral traffic. So we have to be there. So we're working with the content distribution channels. So we serve the content that matters the most to people there. So we use the insight analysis to determine which content is relevant, which content is viral, which content is attractive to users there. And if we find it, and then we scale it. So it's just a very simple method to do that. Saying like we just started paying attention to video content. So in YouTube, we see that the sports news video content is very attractive to our users. So we just ask our staff to produce more sports news. So then there are many other examples. So for the sake of time, I will just move to the next slide. Of course, we work with, now Facebook, we have 16 million page followers. And Facebook keep changing the algorithm. And some people also complain about that. But it's their platform. So we have to be adaptive to their platform. And it's a two-way street as well. It's not just like one-way street, like they keep testing users, but we also have the opportunity to keep testing their platform as well, right? Experimenting with your paid posts. So it's not just one-way street, it's a two-way street. So there's a saying that if you live by Facebook, you will die by Facebook. So that's relevant to our second slide. The second point is build your own media brand and expand to the other countries. So you gotta build your own media brand, so that when there's something wrong happening to Facebook in terms of reducing your reach, then people want to access your content. They will put efforts into finding you, right? When there was the introduction of Explore Feed in Cambodia, the experimental one, there was a reduction in traffic for just like 1 or 2 weeks. Then we found out that there were some people trying to go to our website directly. So it's important to have your own brand as well, rather than just rely on Facebook too much. So that's why you have to build your own brand. And once you build your own brand when I built my own brand in Cambodia, and I think that in order to grow, I have to go to the other market because Cambodia is a small market. And rather than just being defensive, you know that the regional players will will look into our market and they will expand to our market. Rather than going on defensive, we have to go offensive. But before going offensive, we have to be sure that we are dominant in our market first. So, and then I realized that, okay, I'm doing well in my market, and I believe that my model may be working elsewhere as well. So in order to know, we have to test. So I expanded to Myanmar and Vietnam, and we're doing very well in Myanmar. We have more users in Myanmar than Cambodia. Next slide, establish a lean business model. Because in a fast-changing world, we need a lean business model, right? Actually, the digital media, the big media, it's not just about like, they cannot generate a lot of money. In fact, they can generate a lot of money, but the problem is that they have a huge expense, they have a huge team. So the operating cost is very high. So from the start, we want to build a small but efficient team. So we have 60 people in 3 countries, you can imagine, but it's a small team, but it's very efficient. We hire young people because we believe that young people are passionate. At the same time, it's their first job, so their demand for salary is not that high. But of course, it doesn't mean that they don't have ability. With some training, with opportunity presented to them to prove themselves, they can do very well. So, and each time we launch a product, we make sure that the product has a revenue potential. Because if you have many products, then you need more people. So that means you have to spend more on hiring more people to take care of the products. So we make sure that each time we launch a product, it has a revenue potential. So talking about revenue, that's the next slide. So in the digital media world, I think now some media are trying to do what I'm doing. There's diversifying revenue channels. We have to move beyond traditional banner advertisings. It's easy. Of course, it's easy. It's scalable, but you wouldn't get much from it because people are rewarded for their creativity. So as a media, we can be more creative. So we have to find out a source of revenue. One source of revenue is branded content. For example, video content. Brands can consult with us how to produce good video content. Another one is we can go live like the traditional TV channels. We can do live podcastings. Events like right now, it's like tech, startup and angel events. So we are part of the co-organizing committee team of this event. So we're actually looking for more sponsors as well if you can be helpful to us, of course. Of course. And we can do shows and ask people to sponsor our shows. And the most interesting thing that we are doing now is shoppable content and discount deals. Shoppable content is part of our plans. So say, example, you can write an article saying that an amazing event that you shouldn't miss today. People click on the link, they go there, they read about the event, and if they are interested, they can just book the ticket. Yeah, we can do that. So it's called shoppable content. They can also, we have an app, Mediaload app. Now it's regaining traction really fast. We launched it 2 months ago. Now we have 200,000 screen views. And now we're doing deals on Mediaload app. So you can get, say, speakers at a very steep discount. So we just experimenting doing that, I think 3 weeks ago. And the first, we put like 12 speakers on the deal section, and it was sold out within 12 hours. Now there's speakers available again, actually, JBL speakers. Oh, we have JBL team here, yeah. I think you can check our app, and it's almost gone out. The deal is almost gone out because there's so many orders. So yeah, you can try it. It's very useful. It's also part of our strategy of building our own local brand, media brand. Okay, and in the future, we have to do subscription, I think. So the reason we are paying attention to app because we can do subscription. So subscription model is interesting. New York Times is doing that. It's very successful. And in the near future, maybe 2 or 3 years time or 4 years time, we can do that, I think. And lastly, we have to seek investment to expand, right? We got funding from Fire Startup, and this year we're seeking more funding, our Series A, probably $2 million, and hopefully I can talk with some of you, and then we can work out a deal. And so it's important to have capital to expand, to strengthen our market position. Thank you.
Thanks, Vichet. So, yeah, you've been doing an incredible job in those last years, starting from, as you said, a blog or something like that with a really small team or yourself and expanding to this huge online media business, so with cultural specificities in some specific markets. So that's a great and inspiring stories. Thank you.